Hi, I'm Mike Daniels at the DeLand Aviation Showcase, and I'm here with John from Swift Fuels. I messed up already, Dave? And Dave's out here in the audience. Dave Shalbetter from Son of Fun Radio. And John here is going to tell us all about their fuel. So what are you going to tell us?
Yeah, so we're here at the DeLand Showcase for the second year in a row. We're happy to be back. Great turnout. We have our unleaded UL94 avgas that we're talking about here today. The gasoline was created as an unleaded fuel that was designed to an aviation standard for use in primarily light sport aircraft, although plenty of certified aircraft have found use of it now as well. And so we have about 65% of the piston engine fleet that can use UL94 today in the United States. So we're selling it to different distributors all across the country. We have over 50 locations. We have our map here at swiftfuels.com. You can see a live map of all the private and public locations where we sell our fuel, or where our fuel is being sold. We don't actually sell it. Those are likely FBOs or distributors or private airport owners.
Oh, that's great. That was one of my questions I was going to ask you, is where can you buy it at? So this fuel contains no alcohol, contains no lead. So if you're flying a light sport airplane with a Rotex engine, this fuel's perfect for that.
Yep.
And you get, as everybody who flies the Rotex knows, you get a longer TBO if you're not running leaded fuel in it.
That's correct.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'd be happy to add that. So to that. So you're absolutely correct. This is an unleaded aviation gasoline. It's approved on the Rotax engines using the Rotax service instruction. I think it's S9112.016 is the service instruction of fluids, but it's approved on there. You get an extended TBO, as you said, primarily due to the interchange between the fuel and the oil, and then thereby whatever's in the fuel blow-by goes into the gearbox. So if you're running leaded fuel, you have lead as a byproduct of combustion. The lead goes into the oil, into the gearbox, and causes anything but lubrication, thus the reduced TBO. That being said, Lycoming has also taken that approach as well. So Lycoming published it on their service instruction 1070 on a large list of their aircraft. This is engines. This is UL94. And in a similar fashion, they published service letter 270 that says if you use unleaded fuels over leaded fuels, you can go from 50-hour to 100-hour oil changes on Lycoming engines. So Rotax sort of led the way there with that leaded versus unleaded fuel and changing TBO times or oil change or gearbox times, but that is now spilled over. If you listen to Dan Johnson's talk, what started in light sport sort of spilled over into the certified community, which is something we see throughout the light sport community as well. But yes, longer oil change intervals. You'll notice increased life on your spark plug, so you don't have to put up with lead fouling anymore. And as we move towards unleaded fuels, people are realizing that some of the issues that they were experiencing on both light sport and certified was because they were using the wrong fuel. So this is a fit-for-purpose aviation fuel. It's not a doctored MoGas, and it's not a tweaked avgas. It's purpose-built as an unleaded avgas. And so because of that, everything you know about 100 low lead is also true of UL94. Long shelf life, low gum forming compounds, and low vapor pressure year-round, whereas autogas fluctuates month to month. This fuel is stable year-round, just like avgas.
Oh, that's great. So all my friends that are out, bringing in gas cans of MoGas into the airport now, looking for, alcohol-free gas for their engines.
Yeah.
They need to figure out how to get this to the airport. So how do they do that?
Yeah, good point. So we are a small company, but this is what we're very active in: getting fuel to airports. Making the case to airports, be it an airport board, an airport administration, a private airport manager, or a user group at the airport. EAA groups are wonderful for this. And we just need the users that want it to bug the people they're renting their hangars from, that they're using their runways, and say, I want this fuel here. We've had several say, get it here, I'll go to an airport that has it. We have people all over the state of Florida that drive to our Florida airports to find this fuel. That is airports that sell our fuel. We don't sell it there. And it's a very simple process. It's an aviation fuel, and it's commercially insured for use in aviation. Your friends with your gas cans that are carrying around ethanol-free car gas from the gas station is not commercially insured for anything to do with aviation. So this product carries the same liability protection as the avgas and the jet fuel that's being hauled to your airport today. It's bonded, licensed, insured in a closed distribution system, and it's comfortable for people who are used to handling avgas. They're not having to put gas cans in their car. Certainly we'll sell to private users. The purple dots on our map indicate private users that have it at their own grass strip or their hangar or wherever, their home. And then the other dots on there, the balloons, are places that we're commercially selling it. You'll notice we're from New York to Florida to California, we're selling this fuel. And there are plenty of airports that aren't represented on that map that we do these shows for that purpose. To get into those, to pilots, communities, and let them know that we're there, that it's an option, and then help them get the fuel to the airport. We've been pretty successful. Like I said, we're growing, just over 50 airports, and we continually are adding a couple every month or so.
Oh, that's great. You said that this will save money in maintenance, and we know that it will, versus running 100 low lead in your engines. And I know here, I probably don't want to discuss specific prices, but I know here that it's cheaper than the 100 low lead on the field here at DeLand. And I know you don't set the prices, but is that kind of the theme? Is it cheaper at the airports that it's at than the typical 100 low lead, or is that something just special for us?
No, I think it demonstrates the trend across the country. So at all of these locations, you put the proper disclaimer in. We don't set the price. We sell them the fuel plus taxes and distribution, and then the FBOs put on whatever markup they want, or the reseller does. But that's the trend. So I mean, we monitor prices like everybody else on airnav.com lists our prices next to 100 low lead, and you can see the disparate or the difference in price. But I would say that's very common. What you see here in DeLand is common all across the country in places that have our fuel right next to 100 low lead. So even if I say this, I'll preface it by saying, even if it was the same price per gallon as 100 low lead, long term, and even in the short term through your maintenance cycles, for somebody who's got a Rotax or a Lycoming engine, extending that time between oil changes, or think about the last time you had to take spark plugs out and have them scraped on. The wear and tear on spark plugs doesn't come from the lead in the fuel and using it. It's the fact that the A&P's got to scrape the lead off of it. And when they're sitting there scraping on it and putting the vibration machine, that's what does the wear and tear to your spark plug. And so Lycoming's service instruction speaks to this, or service letter speaks to it. Rotax talks about as well, you can have increased life on your spark plugs because there's no lead to build up on it. So at the pump, if you're saving money, which most everybody is, again, we don't set the price, then long term on the maintenance, you'll save as well. And so that's my number one sales pitch, is when people said, why do I want to use 94 over 100 low lead? That's the answer that you get, is there are maintenance benefits and cost savings beyond just price at the pump.
Well, that's great. I'm all behind that. I like the maintenance side. I don't like lead in any of my vehicles. So I know, like I said earlier in the year, I know just enough to be dangerous. So I'm interested in stoic value, and I might be wrong in this, but I can kind of equate that a little bit to miles per gallon. So my Rotax, if I'm running some Mo gas or even some 100 low lead, I can get 4.5 gallons an hour cruise. And that's have to do with the BTU, I'm guessing, a little bit as well. The power per gallon, whatever you want to call it.
Air to fuel ratio and stuff like that.
Yeah. What's stoic value? So what can you tell me about what kind of mileage can I expect, or gallons per hour burn?
Yeah, good point. So I can tell you very simply, we can get into the science. I and a few others on our team serve on ASTM International, so we're down into the weeds on net heat of combustion and all those physical parameters and air to fuel ratio. But it really is just this simple. It will perform just as 100 low lead does. So it's the same weight, or pounds per gallon, 5.832 pounds per gallon is our fuel, UL 94. Everything you know to be true of 100 low lead, of course, sans the issue with tetraethyl lead and light sport engines, will be true of this fuel as well. So you can expect, of the pilots that have flown our fuel, say, well, it's nearly identical to 100 low lead. I don't notice any difference other than the fact that I'm not fouling plugs, I'm not having to change my oil quite as often. So the reliability that you found from 100 low lead, the specs are nearly identical to each other at ASTM. And so you'd expect nearly identical performance as well. And that's what we've heard from all the pilots in the field. And you know, really that's something you can do. We've been here 2 years in a row. We've been commercializing this for 3 years. We're the only company in the country that's selling an unleaded aviation gasoline. And so you can walk around and ask pilots what they think. And I mean, I'm just repeating their words. It's near identical to 100 low lead. I can't tell a difference, but I can sure tell when I'm not fouling plugs and I'm not getting nasty sludge away.
Well, that's awesome. So all the same performance, less maintenance, and possibly even less money even at the pump. So it's going to save me money. It's going to perform the same. I like this. Is there anything else you need to tell me about this fuel before you go?
We're over in the booth 31. If anybody's here on site, you can come over there. We're selling fuel here on the field. It is $4 a gallon, including all taxes, fees, you know, show price, everything put in. Still cheaper than the 100 low lead on the field. You can come talk to us at the booth or visit us at swiftfuels.com. And we're always happy to answer any questions because we know the pilots are a very technical community. So we're technically minded folks and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much, John. I appreciate you coming by. That's Mike Daniels from the DeLand Sport Aviation Showcase, and that's kind of it for now. We're doing one of these every hour or so. We'll probably be even doing more of those throughout the next few days, so please come by and learn about some of the vendors here and the products they have. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, sir. It was awesome.
I shared your live video. So we did it Facebook Live. So
It stopped.
Showcases. Perfect. Actually, it's DeLand Sport Aviation. Yeah.